this is something that, first off, that, it's not something that just popped up last weekend and was like, okay, I'm out. Throw this on Tumblr, we've been talking about this and doing it. This has been 6 months in news for us. So it was something that we both wanted to, when I say we, I mean me and the label or whatever, but all of us wanted to handle it carefully because we didn't want people to think that there was a scandal or some sort of, anything like that. A lot of times, unfortunately, you get artists that will leave a label and then there's, something in there that's, just a scandal. And that's not the case at all.
Wado Radio.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope interview to listen to or to watch. However you're checking this, man. What's good? It's DJ Wado. JGivens is here with us. What's up?
What up?
You thought I was about to drop some bars, didn't you?
I was like, step two, step. Did you think
What's
on
been
the
poppin',
interview, DJ Wade, don't say that you.
See, I knew I shouldn't have started that with you, man.
I
knew I shouldn't have started that with you, man. How you been, though, man?
I'm great.
You good?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Yeah, it's good to be here in Chicago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You like hosting Legacy this year,
I know,
man.
right? I'm with
the
you
MC,
all day,
bro.
MC and the DJ.
I know,
right
that's
now.
fun, though, man.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fun.
a blast. It's a blast.
You got that dry humor popping off heavy out there.
Hey,
bro.
they're laughing.
Hey, they get it, man.
They're laughing.
Some
And
smart people at Legacy, man.
They are. And if a joke goes awry, like you sit there, and if they don't laugh, you just sit there and don't laugh with them. And then someone will laugh, and you're like, I got you. No, but it's been great. I'm loving the Legacy Conference.
Yeah.
This is my third year here, and I hope there's 10 more that I can come back to. This is one of my favorite highlights of the year, just for the ministry part.
Yeah.
And, I've grown so much with the conference, so to be a part of it is amazing.
I was going to say the ministry, and it's like a family reunion, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's certain people, I only see them at Legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you almost kind of like look forward to, seeing them or whatever, man. So that's good.
That used to be us. But then we started stunting, and then we just started,
we started seeing each other more, right?
Getting booked at places like, oh, Wado's here.
It's dope, though.
No, praise God.
Yeah. So, man, let me ask you this, bro. Because I guess this is like the elephant in the room right now, man.
Is it?
No more Humble Beast, bro.
That an elephant. I wrote a letter and told everybody.
I know, but I'm just saying, man. It's like, it's just on some real talk, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the past couple weeks, ever since this kind of came out, like I know Quan had kind of mentioned it on his show. And you had told me a while ago.
Quan's
that this
been
was
leaking it on the show for the past month.
I know, that's Quan, though. You had told me a while ago that, you was, thinking about something. But I guess, man, just honestly, bro, everywhere I've gone, that's like the number one question. What do you think about JGivens leaving?
Really?
Why did you, bro?
No,
see, this is the thing.
that's the thing. Like,
nobody asked you.
Look,
nobody's going to go to you.
Because I was just talking with Thomas yesterday. He's like, how do you think it's going? I was like, I think it's going good. No one said anything. I think they read the letter and are moving on with their lives.
Everywhere I've gone, that's the elephant in the room right now, man.
Okay, well, yeah. I guess at Humble Beast we taught everybody to punch elephants in the nose, and I guess did nobody ascribe to that ministry with us. No.
Sure.
But what was the question?
I think for a lot of people it's just like, why leave?
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of say you're going to pursue some more opportunities,
right.
But you weren't specific, so everybody's like, "What's that?
Right.
What's that?" You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah. I guess it's not really. I guess it is a leave. I think culturally for us as a family, because one thing that we wanted to do is, this is something that, first off, that, it's not something that just popped up last weekend and was like, okay, I'm out. Throw this on Tumblr, we've been talking about this and doing it. This has been 6 months in news for us. So it was something that we both wanted to, when I say we, I mean me and the label or whatever, but all of us wanted to handle it carefully because we didn't want people to think that there was a scandal or some sort of, anything like that. A lot of times, unfortunately, you get artists that will leave a label and then there's, something in there that's, just a scandal. And that's not the case at all.
Sure.
For me, the label is doing so many remarkable things, especially upon me getting there. So many leaps and bounds, and I know that like the announcement with like fair trade distribution, and there's so many different things that are in the works for Humble Beast. And then at the same time, me within the structure, I was benefiting from it and would benefit from it, but there were also things that, you know, I was doing independently that I just didn't want to possibly disrupt that in the future, you know? And so it was kind of just like, hey guys, like, you know, I'm excited for what's going on, but I don't know if this direction, you know, this may be a fork in the road as far as the direction, and I don't want this to turn into something that will hurt the label later. And not saying that I'm going to, you know, I'm finna go be on Lil Kim's tour and then I'm finna go, you know, like, because people are like, oh, he's gonna make secular music, or I don't know what people say because they don't talk. But if people are expecting the worst, that's not the case. It's just it's wiser now to part so that we both can be successful in what we're doing individually in the Lord as far as, you know, music. And so, but I mean, Squad is still my family. It's still my big brothers. You know,
say Thomas was on stage.
He was on stage with me. You know what I mean?
Tend to get in.
You know, and that's you know, one thing we wanted to make sure is that people, like, you know, it seemed kind of silly because we're all, you know, still friends. We're all still talking, and socially it's all the same. But we want to make sure that people saw, like, look, we're still together, and we're, you know, we're not posturing ourselves to, like, this is my homie. Like, I called him before, you know, so. But it's been extremely encouraging for everyone, even if they didn't want to, like, you know, say anything or pry. That's been extremely encouraging that everyone's really respectful of that on some private business stuff. But then also everyone's been so encouraging with just like, you know, we're praying for you. You know, we know your journey. You know, we know God is blessing you, and whatever, for people to say whatever you're doing, I'm down. That's encouraging, bro. There's so much trust.
Riding with you, bro.
Yeah.
And
I'm not finna just roll y'all off a cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I praise God for that, because that just shows a reputation that is a blessing. Yeah,
that's good, bro. Where do you feel like your career is going next? Because, and I think too,
Lil Kim's tour. She got that bleached skin.
I was going to say, so you on the...
She look like Sammy Sosa, Michael Jackson right now.
What's this, the post Bad Boy tour?
I'm going to fall through the
tour
stage.
Off of the tour, yeah.
Phantom of the Opera. What's next? Well, new music is definitely next. Yeah. And I have some other things within music, and actually, you know, projects, but then also just in music industry and some other, like, business ventures that I want to try to, you know, see about, to just add to just me as, I guess, an entrepreneur. And so some more time would have to be put into those. There's some things, like, you know, a few friends of mine have been, you know, working on some things since we were in college. And with me being in music now and this kind of change in my career and life, it affords me the opportunity to be able to kind of take those opportunities and really, you know, use the platform I have to do them. So there's a ton of other stuff, you know, I have up in here that I want to do just as a businessman that, you know, that you know, I'm still trying to solidify for next. But
man, that's dope, bro. Because I knew you always had your graphic design business and stuff like that. But to even hear you talking about, like, branching into stuff like that, man, you got a lot up in that brain, brother.
Yeah, I guess so. I try to keep it. I try to write it all down before it erases. I had some rhyme that we might hear later on some project, but it was just like trying to something before my brain erases, you know. And, you know, it could be before you die or before you forget, or, you know, whatever. You know, just got to get what you got to get done. And all of this journey, even with Humble Beast, was all and is all a thread of a long journey that started when I was 8 on what I wanted to do and what the Lord had put in my life. So yeah, you know, I think it's something where change is difficult, but it's necessary if there's a bigger grand picture for what you plan on doing with your life and what, you know, what the Lord plans on doing with your life. And so it's just different seasons, different turns and twists.
That's good.
I'm glad it wasn't no scandal, though. I'm glad it wasn't one of them, like, we got to let JGivens go because of da-da-da-da, because that, you know, that's actually one of my biggest fears, being in the public scene, is like something like that. And I'm just blessed that I've been able to stay away from that.
You know what it is, man? It's tough because we're all imperfect. But the thing that happens is when God gives you this type of stuff, like this type of platform, this type of talent, this type of influence, as you just mentioned, this type of trust with people, there's like a different standard now. Yeah. That, you know what I'm saying, that God has for leaders. And you know, the reality is, I think all of us as artists, as musicians, we kind of fight it a little bit because we're like, man, well, especially if you're not a pastor. Like if you're not Trip Lee, you're like, well, I'm not a pastor though, but it's still, you know, you have some of the similar influence that a pastor has at times, man.
Yeah, people trust you. I mean, pastor or not, like if another person trusts you, then you have to honor that.
Especially to come in and minister.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though we rapping, you know, if a church or Christian organization books you, that's a very similar, you know, deal.
Yeah, you have to be able to responsibly wield your platform. Your opportunity. I don't even say platform because that's my platform. Whatever opportunity God gives you, He gives you some talents. Are you gonna flip them mugs, or you gonna bury them? Because we see what happened when the dude got buried him, you know. And so it's great. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the blank canvas and the new wine, new wine type thing. I've learned a whole lot. I've learned so much. From, you know, my brothers at Humble Beast, and that's why, and sister, love you, Jackie, and so like that's why I even felt it necessary in the letter to name everyone that was there individually, because there's so many players,
road managers and all.
everyone, because those every single person is and was a part of that, and so that's you know that's important.
How hard was that decision for you, bro? Just like real talk, because I know.
It was easy. I was ready to just bounce.
But not even just from the letter, but just hearing you talk, seeing you interact with them. Even the first time we did an interview, and you even talking about, you know, all of that. And it's like you guys are still friends, but sometimes it's hard to separate the friendship and the business. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I think, I know that I'm one of the young guys. Sure. So I learned a lot about separating friendship and business from this process.
That's
good. And so I learned a ton. I learned a ton this past you know, post fly exam.
Yeah.
It was very hard. It was very very hard. One thing I learned in everything, because there was ups and downs of a bunch of stuff. You know, you're gonna split and leave. You know, well, what's going on? And it's just like, well, I don't really know. And it's like, well, what do you mean you don't know? It's like, I'm still kind of learning. I don't know what I want. What do I want? You know, and then, you know, the journey that takes you on with opportunities and how those go. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about even with music in general, but with business. You have to know what you want. Otherwise, all of your relationships, the way that you communicate, your character, how you present yourself, they're all going to be compromised in a way if you don't know in yourself what you want. And a lot of times I think we go with opportunities and we go with life and we go with things that are, you know, this, and we're chasing things or in things that we really don't want, or we do want, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was a very grueling like process, a very I would say taxing process on being patient, remaining humble, and it was a great character developing process to kind of get to this point,
to go through.
So yeah, it was hard, you know, but the Lord is faithful, and communication is key. Communication is key. You know, punch the elephant in the face. You know, if there's elephants in the room, if there's things you need to say that, you know, you may be even, I guess, apprehensive to say even to yourself, you got to say them. That's how you communicate. And so I think with that communication in this hard time, like, it made our bond, and it's made our bond even stronger.
Sure.
And, you know, for me to be able to look up to my, you know, mentors, I know that they're proud of me on how I'm growing.
Sure. You know, one thing I saw was interesting online, and I didn't think about it like this until I saw the comment, and they were like, man, it seems like so many people have left Humble Beast recently.
That also made it hard.
Well, and I was going to say, but the flip side is everybody left for different reasons.
And that's one thing that it's like, how, like, Humble Beast is not a monolith, all right? Like, you know, like it's not a monolith. Like, these are individual people, individual situations, and and so it just it seemed that way because, well, one, Humble Beast had a grip of people at one point.
Yeah, it had a lot of people.
A grip of people. It looked like the Street Fighter Alpha cover. You know what I'm saying?
That boy's in his Dream Fighter cover.
Not the original one, but the one that was on the PlayStation, the one with like 45 people on it, the new people. Like it looked like that, but everyone has a different story.
Yeah.
And so it was some people have made some comments on Facebook, not too many. Most people were supportive, but I went out to go, I read the little thread.
Sure.
And some people like, oh, well, he just left, I'm not gonna say it like that in that tone. I don't know that kid. But it's like, oh, he just left to go and he wanted to make money with his music, or he just wanted to sell his music. I'm pretty sure that's why he left. And I commented back, I was like, well, fortunately, I was able to make money while on the label.
Sure.
So, okay. Well, someone else was like, something's wrong with this label. People keep leaving and there's got to be a reason.
Humble Beast is great, man.
Like, there's got to be a reason why people keep leaving.
Yeah.
And I just put don't in the Bryson Tiller voice. I was like, don't. And then Jackie put right up like, don't assume, because there's different cases, different scenarios.
Yeah. Humble. So, this is the thing, man. I've known Braille longer than Thomas and everybody else, man. He's one of the most genuine dudes I've ever met in this scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just genuinely loves the Lord, bro. And man. So
yeah. And they, like, Brian and Thomas, or Braille and not Thomas, they didn't nowhere in this process were they not any less than the mentors and the men of God that they've been before I got on Humble Beast. And so that's why you see Thomas up there on stage, like on 10 to get in. I was sitting there making a set, and I'm like, wait, I'm going to call this fool. He's around the corner. Let me see if he want to do it. I'm like, yo, you want to come on stage and do it? He's like, man, I don't know if I know the verse. I was like, I don't have time for that. You're going to come on stage. You're going to do it. He's like, all right, fool, I'm going to come. So, it's good.
Yeah, that was a nice moment too, man.
It really was. I'm really glad. Plus, we had never performed that song together. What? Yeah, that's why he was nervous. He was like, I've never performed this song. And I was like, Thomas, like, TJ. The first time that I performed this song, I had never performed it either. You're going to go on the stage.
Dude.
And so.
Y'all had never done that together?
No, never. And he didn't even do the sound check. He just showed up.
Yeah, he did just show up.
Yeah. So I saw his face. He was getting his lyrics, and when I walked by him when we were crossing, I was like, ah. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's good. Those moments are good.
On the way to radio show. On the way to radio.